I'm retiring from boxing. I'm getting hit in the face every single day while I could be playing.
You heard it. Jake Paul just destroyed himself after Mike Tyson's embarrassing humiliation in the ring, and just when you thought things couldn't get worse for Jake, get this. Jake Paul is on the verge of retiring after what went down in a recent sparring session with the legend. And no, Jake didn't just kiss the canvas, and he pretty much kissed his career goodbye. That's right. During the sparring session, Mike landed such a devastating KO. That's right, during the sparring session, Mike landed such a beast. But come on, Mike is pushing 60, and Jake is supposed to be in his prime. We were giving Jake the benefit of the doubt, thinking maybe he could hang in there, spoiler alert, but he couldn't, and now he's in tears about it.
Like a little teary-eyed. But, yeah, and then I wake up the next day and, have a phone call, with my lawyers for one of...
The internet's in shock, but honestly, after that brutal takedown, people are starting to question if Jake's boxing journey is finally coming to an end. Getting knocked out by a man twice your age is not a good look. Sure, Tyson's a legend, but this fight exposed Jake for what he really is, someone who's been riding the hype train a little too long. Is this the final chapter of Jake Paul's boxing career? The writing's on the wall, and it's not looking good for him. Let's break it down. So after Jake Paul started flooding his socials with those training videos, it was pretty obvious that something was offshore. He was putting in the hours, but the dude just didn't look like he was ready to hang with. Tyson, let's be real, his stamina was struggling and the power straight up was non-existent. He was gassing out quicker than a TikTok trend, leaving fans scratching their heads. And it wasn't just us regular fight fans raising eyebrows. It was Iron Mike himself. Tyson was watching closely, and it seemed like he was starting to get concerned too. Mike's been in this game forever, and when he saw Jake's training clips, you could tell he was thinking, is this kid really ready? Mike's not the type of guy who just shows up for a payday and calls it a key-in. He's a real boxer, and even at almost 60, he doesn't just step into the ring unless he's planning to throw down for real. So what did he do? Mike decided to take things into the ring for a test drive, a little preview of what might go down on November 15th, 2024, at the AT&T Arena, and let me tell you, the result was ugly. Tyson wasn't just looking to get a few punches in, he wanted to see if Jake was actually ready to put on a show. The hype was real, the stakes were high, and what did Jake do? Well, let's just say he didn't meet the moment. The sparring session went down over the weekend, and it was a straight-up disaster for Jake. The moment he stepped into the ring and saw Mike standing across from him, it was like all that bravado and trash talk just evaporated. Jake was wobbling around the ring like he'd forgotten how to fight. It was bad. Every punch that came from Tyson made Jake look more and more like he didn't belong there. Forget being the problem child, he was looking more like the scared child. But then the knockout came, and this wasn't just any KO, it was the knockout that sent shockwaves through Jake's entire career. Tyson delivered the punch that landed like a wrecking ball, and the look on Jake's face right before he hit the canvas was like he saw his boxing future flashed before his eyes, and it wasn't pretty. Jake hit the mat hard, and it wasn't just his body that crumbled, it was his whole boxing persona at that moment. That moment was the final nail in the coffin for Jake's so-called career as a boxer. Remember how Jake used to run his mouth about how he was going to be the biggest thing in boxing? Yeah, all that talk, it came crashing down the second he got hit by Mike. This wasn't just another sparring session gone wrong. This was Jake Paul's reality check delivered courtesy of boxing legend. Tyson didn't even have to say a word. The KO spoke loud enough for everyone to hear. Jake isn't ready for this, and honestly, after seeing him hit the canvas, it's no wonder he's been quiet on social media ever since. The kids has been crying about it non-stop, and who can blame him? It's one thing to get knocked out, it's another to have your entire career destroyed in front of the whole world,
me for something I didn't do. On God, it's just the most bullshit thing, and I literally had to pay them a lot of money for no reason.
The real kicker, this was just sparring. If Jake can't even survive a sparring session with Mike Tyson, how's he supposed to handle an actual fight? Fans are already saying that this might be the end of the road for Jake Paul's boxing dreams. The thing is, Jake's whole brand has been built around the idea that he's this unstoppable force, that he's the guy who can take on legends and win. But now it looks like Jake's finally been exposed for what he really is, someone who's been out of his league from the start. Tyson didn't just beat him, he broke him, and now after that brutal KO, Jake's career is hanging by a thread. So yeah, when we say JakePaul just destroyed himself, we mean it because after this there might not be any coming back.
They're suing me for something I didn't do. Like, on God, it's just the most bullshit thing. And I literally had to pay them a lot of money for no reason. And I'm like,
Boxing pros and pundits have been warning JakePaul from the very start to stay in his lane and not mess with the baddest man on the planet, Mike Tyson. Don't take it from us. Take it from Joe Rogan, who's been shouting from the rooftops about how Tyson isn't a guy you fight just for fame and a paycheck day two.
Ready for you.
Man still trains like an animal and has the power to back it up even in his 50s, but Jake wasn't hearing it. He was too focused on the potential glory, the media buzz, and the fame. That's all Jake's been about, right? He loves the spotlight, and the fight was supposed to cement his legacy, except now that legacy is crumbling faster than his posts, sparring excuses. This fight was supposed to be Jake's biggest. Thanks for watching.